We're the Lockwoods, and we're traveling the world to experience up close and in person all the natural wonders and distinct cultures that our kids would otherwise be consuming only through textbooks and TV. We're capping a few weeks of travel through Europe that have included visits to the captivating Christmas markets of Florence, Milan, Paris, and Munich. But our final leg of the trip is ditching the holiday theme and focusing on the family adventures through the eternal city of Rome. My mission is to give our kids the most authentic Roman experience Vat-I-Can by taking them through a Colosseum worth of sights and bites in just 4 days. There's a lot to squeeze in, so let's put our big boy Pantheon and start devouring.
Well, unfortunately, nobody can control the weather, and we have some rainy days here in Rome, but that's not gonna stop us from roaming the streets. And we happen to be walking by the Pantheon, and it has so many layers of history. Going back to 25 to 27 BC is when they think that they first constructed something here on this site. And then in the year 126, Emperor Hadrian, probably saying that incorrectly, had it constructed to look the way that it does today. And then it was 609 that it was recognized by the Roman Catholic Church as a temple. Needless to say, there's a lot of old stuff in Rome, and this is just one thing that we're passing on our way to lunch. Bit of a walk to find this place, and we sometimes do research online to figure out where we want to go and where we want to eat when we're traveling, but this place came from a friend. If you're familiar with the channel, our best friend Amanda, her parents highly recommended this place. They stumbled across it when they were here in Rome, and it's really street food, literally where you have to buy it and you have to eat on the street. They don't have a dining room at all. But they have these amazing little bites, very similar to arancini's, and we have to get those. It's Suppli Roma, and Suppli is the little treat that I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, they're huge. Two ham pizza. We got our food, now what? We have to figure out a place to eat it. Oh yeah, right here, we found it. So we're covered out from the rain. I can imagine normally if the weather is great, that place would be out the door. It was so crowded in there and people were really crowded around it. Ah, they got street pizza. Here's your slice, that looks good. A Roman pizza is a little bit unique. They bake it on like a cookie sheet, and it's flat and rectangular, and then they make the rectangular cuts out of it. Now for the star dish, the arancini. This is what we walked all this way for in the rain. Now I compared it to an arancini, but it is very different, obviously. An arancini is more of a very perfect ball and a lot smaller, and the Suppli bigger, and it's stuffed full, I think, of more cheese. I'm not really gonna know until I bite into it, but it's made of rice. Mmm. Ooh. Mmm. That is just what I needed. Almost has like something that reminds me of a calzone because there's a lot of mozzarella and tomato sauce in there, and it's in the middle. It's not necessarily mixed within the rice, and then covered in rice and deep fried. Woo.
It's like a dinosaur egg. Where do they have dinosaur eggs? It's a thing. Some restaurant has dinosaur eggs. A lot of rice, very tomatoey looking. It's nice to eat another ball that wasn't taken from the bottom of a horse this episode. It's a lot looser than I expected. Not packed all together. It falls apart very easily, so you have to eat it carefully. It's delicious. Gonna need a good drink after this. And I don't mean water. The food, 10 out of 10. The atmosphere, 1 out of 10. So we're gonna rough the rain, get back to our place, and we'll give you a tour.
Now that we've had a chance to dry off, we'd like to welcome you to our home in Rome. This is Piranesi. It's in our Inspirato portfolio, and if you don't know what that is, it's our destination club where we pay a monthly membership and then 0 nightly rates, and we're able to travel all over the world within their portfolio. It's been fantastic for us. The building we're in is Roccoforte, but this is the living room, super high ceilings. I love it when we come to Europe and we feel like we're living in a historical building and the ceilings are so high and detailed. Beautiful. And this beautiful blue color, like gorgeous little decors that adds a little bit of a modern touch. They gave us a Christmas tree because it's almost Christmas. That door over there seems like it's a connecting room, so you might be able to connect this apartment with another one and add on to it a bit. We've been hanging out in here. There's an Apple TV, so we've been watching our movies and our shows while we've been here, and the kids are able to have plenty of room to do their schoolwork. I'm doing the editing, and Phil gets lots of work done himself. You might notice that I have a little bit of an echo, and that is because of the floors here. They're painted concrete, so the sound is bouncing all over the place. We've got the cutest little dining area right off of the cutest little kitchen. The seat's 4, so you're gonna wanna do most of your eating out anyways if you're here with a bigger group, but it only sleeps 4 as well, so it makes sense. The kitchen, it's not huge, but since we've been eating out, it's been perfect for breakfast. You've got large for Europe refrigerator here. Some of our leftover breakfast in there. And this is the washer and dryer. We've actually been using it to do some laundry. And then it has a dishwasher. And I love these little cabinets. They are adorable, that little minty green color and the details on the paneling. Little oven, a little stovetop. But you know what, I've been wondering, with all of the cooking that Italians do, and food is such a big deal and meals are such a big deal, they have very little countertop. But that doesn't bother us one bit because we want to go out and we want to explore the food. I don't like the cooking either. We're back in the foyer and there is a powder room right over there. This is a 2-bedroom apartment, so the second bedroom is over here. It's where the kids have been staying. It is 1 king bed. They're not crazy about sharing, to be honest, but it's plenty of space for them. It also has its own full bathroom, beautifully updated, and a little closet area. Not a ton of closet space, but you're only here for a vacation anyway. You've got plenty of room. And the master is right off of the front door, and again, with the ceiling so high. There's these balconies. It's kind of like a hallway of balconies, which would be really fantastic if the weather was great. But the closet is off to the side of the bed, king bed, and you can do your TV watching right in front. And the bathroom is really nice because you have a nice big full tub to warm up in because it's cold. There's a separate shower area and a separate toilet area that also has a bidet. Only downside is the lack of counter space because there's only 1 sink in the vanity, but we make do, especially when there's wine to be had. We're gonna dry up, we're gonna get some schoolwork done, some work done, and some work on this wine. And then we're gonna hit the town again.
Our kids, like most, have a very limited natural appreciation for history, so we've had to develop a little hack to help them get interested in some of the sights and bites that we experience along the way. One of the tricks that we've come up with is exposing them through TV or movies or sometimes through their schooling at the time to the things that we're about to experience. Yesterday, we watched the movie as a family, Angels and Demons, and they were both really into it. So today, as part of our little strolls around the city, we're retracing some of the steps and visiting some of the locations from that film. One of them is right here, guys. This is the Church of Santa Maria della Vittoria, and this is where the 3rd cardinal was killed by burning him alive over the burning pews inside of the church.
I was really hoping we could go in and see the floor plan and see exactly where they had the fire and the chairs and the cardinal. But it says it doesn't open for another hour, I think. So, bummer.
On our way to dinner, we're stopping off here at Piazza Navona, and this is a very cool place that was designed in the 1600s, and it actually has several different fountains in here. The one behind us is the Fountain of 4 Rivers. Why do you like it, Brooklyn?
I like this one the most because I just watched Angels and Demons. Robert Langdon saved the 4th cardinal from drowning in this river. Fountain, not river.
I am so excited about this dinner. I have been stalking their website for weeks. It is a really well-known name in Rome, Roscioli. That is their salumi counter, and you can find 300 cheeses and over 200 meats. It's what they're really well known for is their salumi selections. But also, they're known for their pastas because it has been said by many top chefs that Roscioli has the best pasta in Rome. That says a lot. It's commonly believed that pasta first came to Italy in the 13th century by Marco Polo, but there are others that argue it came to Italy much earlier than that, from East Africa. In Italy, they have hearty grains, and so they have their own interpretation of the long noodles, and that's how pasta as we know it today came to be, and we're addicted to it. Everybody loves pasta.
The menu is actually very phenomenal. I mean, it's substantial, but not in a bad way. This isn't like a cheesecake factory where you've got lots of endless choices that are not going to be appealing. The stuff on here, the categories alone really tell the story. So our selection, appetizers, classics, Roman classics, and so many different pasta dishes and so many different kinds of salmon on here, and all of them sound very good. So it's actually hard to choose from this very big menu, but I think I know what I'm gonna go with.
Well, they really focus on authentic products and the raw purity of their ingredients. So I'm really excited. I know exactly what I want too. I knew what I wanted weeks ago. Again, stalking the website.
They even have a really good selection for Brooklyn. 2 kinds of beef tartare. Which one do you want? Anchovy flavored mayonnaise or the one with green apple, black sesame, and mustard and honey sauce?
Mayonnaise.
That is all Brooklyn ever wants. Like, maybe she needs extra iron or something. She always wants tartare because she loves rare steak too. It's her absolute favorite. But this is the perfect kind, the perfect way to prepare it, because it is just the ingredient that speaks for itself. It's just the meat. There aren't a ton of sauces and, you know, spices and capers and mustard, and it's just the meat that tastes so good. It was delicious.
Actually, there is a sauce. She's just not eating it. This is the anchovy mayo with fried anchovies. It's really good.
And we all know what Colt's getting. The only thing he's been asking for all week, cacio e pepe. Obsessed.
Grazie.
That is the best cacio e pepe ever. The pasta, insane. Can't wait for us to try ours.
Mine's apparently very special because it takes 20 minutes to bring this out because of the pasta that they use. A spaghettini that is like super fresh, super made, from scratch, per order. That's nuts, incredible. It tastes a little bit crunchy, like some crazy form of al dente. By the way, this is pasta carbonara, and then the meat is normally guanciale, which is essentially like a bacon, but look at how big these chunks are. Our host at our apartment told us that this is one of the things to get here, and I see why. I've had a lot of carbonara, a lot of very good carbonara. This one is incredible.
Finally, I have been waiting for weeks to have this. This is ravioli di coda e pecorino, which is ravioli filled with oxtail and pecorino, and it has a foie gras fig sauce. What? Oh my gosh. I just wanted to cut it to see what the inside was like, and that's all the oxtail. It's heaven. Oh my gosh. This is the best thing I've ever eaten. No joke. Seriously, this is insane. The oxtail, it's like a minced meat, very salty minced meat flavor inside, and then the pecorino, of course, it's very salty itself. And then the foie gras sauce is insane. And if you don't know, pecorino is a sheep's cheese, and foie gras is usually goose liver, sometimes duck liver, but usually goose. I'm like dying over this. We're gonna have a long day of adventuring and discovering new things in Rome. It's like every time we walk around a corner, there's something new to look up and discover. It is so full of history. It feels like history began here, which is crazy that it's not true. We're gonna do it again tomorrow. We'll see you in the morning. New day, new weather forecast. It's much drier this morning. So we are gonna go and explore as much of the city as we possibly can, starting with right outside of our building. We're at Piazza di Spagna, which is also known as the Spanish Steps. The steps are one of the most photographed areas in Rome, and the name is a little bit misleading because it was actually a French architect that made them. They're called the Spanish Steps because it used to be the site for the Spanish Embassy of the Holy See. It leads up to the Holy Trinity Church.
The Holy See, if you're not already familiar, is the government of the Vatican. Here we are in Piazza Magnanelli, and this is the Column of the Immaculate Conception with the Virgin Mary on top. Every year on December 8th, they have a big festival right here, so we literally missed it by about 3 or 4 days.
On our way to lunch is probably the #1 thing that I wanted to see coming to Rome. Ah, the Trevi Fountain. Holy smokes, this is way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, wow.
What do you guys think of the fountain?
It's beautiful. Watery.
Is it interesting or not so much?
It's interesting.
I actually had to Google why it's so famous, and #1, it's huge. It's about 50 meters wide. It's appeared in a lot of movies. It's also the largest Baroque-style fountain in the city. Definitely one of the most famous places for people to come visit. But for luck, you're supposed to throw coins into the fountain, and guess what, guys? I have coins for you.
Didn't go as far as I was imagining. Now we're going to lunch. I'm starving. I'm ready for some Roman sandwiches. More street food. Right around the corner from the fountain is La Prosciutteria, and it has the best sandwiches in Rome. Can't wait to try it. It is a small, skinny little place, but there's just a few places to sit in the back, and they just opened. We got here right on time. Behind me. I'm going to have to get this one, porchetta d'Aricia.
Is it?
Porchetta d'Aricia. Aricia. D'Aricia. Okay, d'Aricia. I'm gonna get that because that is their roasted pork. It's their specialty sandwich. This is interesting. It explains why it's so small and not too much seating. It says, we are not lazy, but we don't have a restaurant license. We can't serve you. We can't have a menu. So you have to order at the counter. Explains a lot in here. And I do love that we have the place to ourselves.
Starting with a glass of house red. This one is from Lazio, the region that Rome is in. Cheers, baby.
Taste Roman. Oh, it's so warm. This feels good in my hot little hand. Wow, specialty roasted pork. There's a lot of fat pieces in there, which is gonna be flavorful. Roasted pork is delicious. Oh my gosh, just like pure flavors. It's focaccia bread and it's just warm, like as if it was just baked, and soft inside and delicious, crunchy on the outside.
What else do we have in here? Look inside. Even though it's pork, not turkey, it tastes like a Thanksgiving meal in a focaccia wrap. It is so comforting, so delicious, so warm, and just kind of a cozy sandwich. I love it.
Without trying any other sandwiches, I can already say this is the best sandwich in Rome because I can't imagine anything beating this. It is so delicious. Isn't that succulent?
Yum, 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 yum.
I love it. It is worth it to do the research and finding the right places to go when you travel because you don't want to waste a single meal, a single snack, a single bite. You want to try the best that every destination has to offer.
Or if you don't want to do the research and you just want to copy the places that we go, you can actually go to our website, followabc.com/guides, I believe. We'll make sure that we put the correct thing down below if it's not guides. But this is where we put together little travel guides that include all of the places we go. So if you want to retrace our steps whenever you visit these cities, you can download those for free. And actually, it's not even a download anymore because they are dynamic Google Maps guides. So it'll actually give you the whole list of every place that we've been and have automatic things like business hours, reservations when available, as well as maps and directions to every place we've gone.
Perfect little break. Now we're on to see more of the must-see sites in Rome. It's a big one. Colossal even. We're passing by the Roman forums, and they are ruins of ancient government buildings. Very, very, very old. So old that they are dated to 500 BC. The showstopper, the Colosseum. You know, Russell Crowe once roamed these halls in the year 80 AD. Not really, but he played a guy who did in the movies. But this is the big attraction in Rome. Everybody wants to come and see the Colosseum. It's probably the greatest icon and landmark here. The kids are fascinated by how old it is, even though we passed things that were older on the way here. But they're just blown away that it was built in the year 80 AD, so almost 2,000 years ago.
The Colosseum also makes an appearance in my children's book that's going to be launching next year.
And now we're in a whole new country, the smallest country, Vatican City. And it is pretty miraculous and significant that we are here right before Christmas time and we're looking at the nativity scene in front of the Sistine Chapel in St. Peter's Square. It's really feeling overwhelming to think about the impact that all of these things have on the whole world, and we get to come here and look at it and experience it for ourselves.
All right, you guys remember in the movie when the one cardinal was killed and the symbol was air, the earth element was air, and so his lungs were punctured and he was lying down on the ground? That was right here, and it's supposed to be in front of a statue of an angel blowing called North Wind.
Is
So
that
if you
the
can
angel?
find that, you'd know the exact spot where it happened in the film.
Is that the angel?
Nope. This is part of the nativity scene.
Oh, is that the circle?
The circle right there? Yeah, I bet that is. That's exactly what that is. Yeah. And now it's pouring down rain, so we're gonna go to dinner, and this is a special night for a very special, specific meal. This restaurant is in the Michelin Guide. It's La Arcangelo.
Small change of plans. So we actually came to this restaurant tonight because we heard that in Rome, you can only get true gnocchi on Thursdays. If you find gnocchi on a menu any other day of the week, you're in a tourist trap. So we said, we're gonna be there on a Thursday. We want this to be very special. Grazie. So we asked our host to pick the best place for gnocchi in the city, and this is the recommendation that came back. Turns out they don't serve gnocchi here at all. So we're rolling with the punches. We picked some really good carbonaras, another cacio e pepe, 2 of the house specialties, and on the special board tonight. So I have really big expectations, and in the meantime, we're enjoying some wine and some good olive oil.
And I was really looking forward to some gnocchi tonight because of the story, the tradition, and I wanted to share it with all of you. But when in Rome, you roll with the punches, and we're gonna have a fabulous meal anyways. After all, they're in the Michelin Guide. They can't be bad. Highly recommended. Already very impressed. This focaccia, it looks like it's whole wheat, and it tastes like it's whole wheat. Very grainy, very salty, so you don't need to add salt to your olive oil. This is some good bread. Best bread we've had in Rome.
Perfect. You're right. Doesn't need more salt.
We tend to travel wherever the opportunities present themselves. A lot of the times that is off season, and that has pros and cons to it. And the weather is probably the biggest con, because of course everybody wants to travel to the destinations when the weather is more guaranteed to be perfect. And like this time of year, the weather not totally ideal, but I do love that restaurants are less crowded, and the tourist attractions, like when we went to the Trevi Fountain, that could have been packed. Like you can't even move like an inch without bumping into somebody if it were the summertime. So I do appreciate traveling this time of year to these places in Europe because it's also beautiful, and there's no bad time to travel.
Grazie.
There you go.
Yeah. The noodles give it like a different flavor. Like a more egg flavor.
He amazes me. 10 years old, and his palate is outstanding. I don't even think he understands like pasta's made with egg and flour, or maybe it's not. It's an egg noodle or not an egg noodle. He doesn't know these things, but he picks up on everything in food. Needless to say, since they didn't have gnocchi, Colt and I got the special, which was a tagliatelle cacio e pepe. The pasta is just so good. I've eaten pasta morning, noon, and night when we've been in Italy, not just here, but Florence, Milan, and now Rome, and I can't get enough.
It looks like a very egg yolk forward carbonara sauce. I'm not complaining. This is our last meal of our trip here, and I'm excited. Maybe they just really love egg here. Since Colt said his tastes eggier, and this one definitely, you get so much egg yolk flavor. It really is good. And it's a much different noodle than we've been having with this the rest of the trip. Instead of spaghetti or peachy, getting these little rigatoni type of noodles. It's really good.
We are fully satisfied with the food through the whole trip, and especially this restaurant, even though there is no gnocchi. But that's okay. Again, roll with the punches, and we're gonna roll right on out of here. A lot of takeaways from our time in Rome. It's not enough to come here for 3 days. We have got to come back and see more of it, right? Yes. More gelato? Ice cream. It was a fantastic trip, but it's leaving us wanting more. There's so much more history, so much more to discover. Like, we just hit the tip of the iceberg for all of the sites that we saw, and I'm ready to dive deeper. So, next opportunity we have to come back to Rome, we're taking it. Right, guys? Ice cream. Careful, you're gonna lick that right off the thing.
We're the Lockwoods. Aaron, Phil, Reagan, Brooklyn, and Cole. We're traveling the world to experience up close and in person all the natural wonders and distinct cultures that our kids would otherwise be consuming only through textbooks and TV. We think it's a better way to learn, and we're working hard to fund this little experiment in the hope that our kids will grow up wiser, kinder, and more grateful for the beauty of our diverse planet and its people.
And the shower is separate than the toilet area over there, which also has a duvet.
Duvet.
Duvet?
Not
Duvet?
Not a duvet.
Not a duvet. That's a bed
bidet.
cover. A bidet.